everybody, Lori here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a fun project to share for Altenew featuring the Halftone Stars nested die set. Here's all the stars that you get in the die set, all the different sizes. And this die set coordinates perfectly with the Halftone Stars stamp set, which I'll be using a little bit later. So let's dive right in. What I'm doing here is I'm taking the second to largest star die, and I'm die cutting it repeatedly all over this panel of white cardstock. I don't really have any rhyme or reason to where I'm placing my stars. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. What I'm trying to do is just evenly space the stars until I cover the entire panel with big old stars, which doesn't take very long because the stars are big. This is a standard size card, a panel, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I only had to run it through about 5 or 6 times. And then later on, I'll fill in all the little openings with smaller stars. So there's going to be lots of stars. And I think you could easily do this with lots of different shapes. If you have the nested heart dies, maybe even nested circle dies, different shapes, same idea. Moving on to the ink blending, I have a piece of Bristol paper. I'm on a kick with Bristol paper. Normally I use it with Distress inks. Today I'm experimenting, doing it ink blending with Altenew inks on Bristol paper, and let me tell ya, I love the results. They blended like butter on here. So I have the 4 beautiful blue inks. These come in a set. You can also buy them individually. The lightest color is Arctic. Then there's Caribbean Sky. And the third darkest is Persian Blue. And then the deepest, darkest, 4th ink is Sapphire, which is my favorite. And so you can see I'm trying to do a gradient effect. I'm not going to lie, I had to take a couple breaks in this ink blending adventure here because my arm started getting sore. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of ink blending to cover the entire panel, and I was trying really hard to get the pressure right with my hand and just to not have any splotches, and it turned out beautifully. And now I'm going to flick on some water. See, this is normally what I do if I use Distress inks. Now I'm experimenting, seeing how the Altenew inks react, blended on Bristol paper and then flicked on the water. And it does react differently, quite a bit differently. You don't get the white droplet effect at all. In fact, it goes darker, but I kind of liked it. I just went with it. I mean, after the intense arm workout that I went through to get that beautiful blue gradient background, I was not about to start over. And I'm not afraid to start over because I say this all the time. Sometimes I got to do a card 2 to 3 times to get it right. But this time I just decided to embrace the dark splatters. I'm going to call it like a starry night sky. That's what I'm telling myself. Anyway, so now I'm die cutting some smaller stars, and my ink blend them with yellow Altenew inks. The lighter color is Citrus Burst, and the darker shade is Honey Drizzle. I love that name, Honey Drizzle, and these inks do blend like butter. Speaking of butter, my daughter asked me tonight to make her an individual cookie in a ramekin. Never done it before, but I looked up on Pinterest, and it was super duper easy. The weird thing about it was you just add, you melt a couple tablespoons of butter, you add a tablespoon of sugar, brown sugar, vanilla, flour, baking powder, some chocolate chips, mix it together, put it in a ramekin, and then you microwave it, which I thought, I don't know if this is going to work because the texture of it didn't look like a baked cookie. But then, of course, you put a big whopping scoop of vanilla ice cream on it. And my daughter, the 16-year-old Alex, now she is not one to candy coat it. She'll tell you straight up if it was good or if it was horrible. So I just handed it to her and then I walked away. I backed away. I was not feeling very confident about the reaction I would get from her because I microwaved it instead of baked it. And I was waiting for her to say, "This is gross." But you know what I said, "How is it?" And she said, "It's pretty good." And I thought, well, success. Ba-boom. So that felt pretty good. I'm going to have to make one for myself sometime and see if I like it. Now, I die cut a few more teeny tiny stars out of glitter cardstock and popped those up. So we got 3 layers of stars. Lots of fantastic dimension. And now I am embossing a sentiment. This is from the Halftone Stars stamp set. I'm embossing this in white on a strip of black cardstock. I love how It has a lot, the Halftone Stars stamp set has a lot of star-themed sentiments, obviously, which pairs perfectly with the card I've got going here. I'm going to pop this up as well, and we're just about finished. Now I'm just going to adhere this panel onto a white card base, and bada boom, bada bing, we're done. Look at the fun color, vibrant. We got dimension, we've got stars, and we've got individual chocolate chip cookies in a ramekin. What more could you ask for? Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.